So welcome to this new moon reading. I have 3 cards to show, and I'm going to dance between all 3 of these cards and see what message comes through. Here they are. 3 reversed cards. And the first is the King of Wands reversed. And there's a strong message in this King for all of us and all of our connection with this fiery masculinity. This King is one of the most powerful leaders in life and inside of us. He leads by example normally, and he's strongly altruistic, and he's normally incredibly connected to his heart. And this King inside of us calls for us to make all the changes that we need to make in our lives and promote positive growth, be creative, but also to stand up for our truth, to stand up for what we know is right, and to represent a light or a beacon in this world. And he calls for us to be an example of what heart means, what light means, what true leadership and creativity looks like. That means he's asking us to lead ourselves. And when he's reversed like this, he brings up all these questions, all of our doubts about how we are leading ourselves and how we are guiding ourselves in our lives, and how we are being that true inspiration and uplifting, excited, powerful sharer of light and intuition. Our egos get in the way a lot, and this King reversed represents our fire channeled in a way where we can see that we can easily get angry with things, we can easily get pissed off with life, we can easily lose our patience, and we can easily direct our fire towards the many things that we can see as not being quite honest and true out there in the world. It's very easy to be frustrated when our ego claims this fire and wants the world to make changes that we ourselves maybe are not even ready to make. This card comes up reversed when we spend a lot of energy and time focused on trying to change something out there in the world and forgetting to change something in here. We can waste a lot of energy doing that. We can light a fire and watch it burn out, and we can light another fire and watch it burn out, and we can forget where the fire is always lit. And what I mean by this is we can forget the higher will. We can forget our spiritual essence. We can forget our connection with the divine, with Source, with God. And we can ignore that connection. We can ignore where the power that we've come here to channel really comes from. We're supposed to set an example for the world in a way by being this upright king. We're supposed to be able to lead other people around us when it's needed, to help the world create changes that we too can create inside of ourselves and need to create inside of ourselves. This king comes up reversed when some of our fire has gone out, when we are looking to fuel our passionate life, our excitement for living, our purposeful, driven focus, when we are looking to fuel that in very mundane ways, and when we're forgetting the connection with Source. And I know it's an easy one to forget. It's easy to think that we have to find the fire, the creativity, the energy, the power inside of ourselves. We have to find it all ourselves. We have to do the work. We have to do it. It's all about us. It's all about what we need to be, how we need to act, and what we need to create. And yet it's not all about us. And we forget this. We forget this a lot. Maybe too much. And we forget that we are these conscious channels that can open up to some divine energy, some divine love, and some divine light, some divine truth. And we can bring a little bit into this world through our actions, but not through our effort. There's going to be effort, but it's not all about our effort. There's going to be a need for truth to come through us in many different ways. Sometimes it's just about doing something. Sometimes it's about being empathic and feeling it and sharing some compassion, some love with other people in the world. Sometimes it's about speaking our minds. And at other times, it's about sharing our vulnerability, our healing journey, and our truth. There are many ways to channel the divine truth through us, through our experience in life. But we need to remind ourselves quite often and remember that that's what we're doing here. That's why we're here. That's what's the most important thing, really. Sharing from our hearts, but staying connected to our hearts. And our ego can pull us away, and it will pull us away all the time. And it's okay to be pulled away. It's okay to get caught up in our individuality and our little stories. It's all right. But it's also okay to remember more and more. The magician repeats this message. He comes as this powerful creator and manifester of truth and conscious choice. But he's also upside down, and he has his wand facing the earth instead of facing heaven. He forgets the source, the infinite that is above us, the infinite that's in the lizard eating its tail, or the salamander eating its tail. the infinite that is inside of us, behind us, always backing us up, giving us support, wanting to be there to guide us. It's behind us. We sometimes just need to turn around and go, oh, Spirit's got my back. We can be passionate about many things, and this king can be passionate about many, many things. But it's rare that we're kind of passionate about spirit because it seems so vague, so intangible. And we're not always aware of how this light moves through us and speaks through us sometimes and acts through us. We're not aware of our connection to it. We can call for that connection more, and we can just think about it more. We can silence our thoughts and connect with our hearts, and we can touch it more. If we want to manifest what needs to be manifested in the world, yeah, it's going to be partly what we want, and it's going to be partly what the divine wants or spirit wants. And that can be one and the same, but we have to ask for that to be one or the same. We have to choose for that to be the same. We have to listen. And it's not always easy to listen because we're all just listening to our little man programs or little woman programs. We're listening to our old ego repeating past stories. And we're rarely in the present. We're rarely standing still, holding our wand and feeling the support of the two wands behind us, the two wands of the parents of life. And this can be seen as our parents if they are supportive, but our two parents are this Mother Earth and this Father Sky, you know. This light and darkness that supports us always. This reading seems to be one about embodying the leader inside of us in a more beautiful, vulnerable, honest way, and embodying that leadership by choosing to remember what our wand really is, what that fire really is all about. It's not something that we just light up and let it go out, something that requires consistency and persistency and a bit of endurance. It asks for us to remind ourselves over and over again, what am I doing here? What's this all about? We don't all have to have altruistic goals or high spiritual purpose in life. We have to have a heart purpose, and it has to feel like it's connecting us to everything. And the wand really wants us to feel connected to everything, really wants us to shine in a way where the light and the fire really creates warmth and heats up what needs to move and change and shift, to burn any of that old and to take those old programs and make a light with them. burn them up willingly. Throw out some bigger ideas, some greater ideas. Challenge ourselves sometimes, but in a beautiful way, in a good way. And remember that the support that we're looking for, which stops us from feeling alone on the hill, is always there. And we don't always call for it. We don't always ask to feel connected. We don't ask ourselves to feel connected. And yet we can remember. And all of these three cards, I think, are desperately wanting to be turned around so that we can manifest more of what we want, so that we can stop throwing our fire out there and wasting it in feeling frustrated about life not working out the way we want to, but instead call consciously to be that channel so that we can lead ourselves properly and listen a little bit. Listen to something different than our normal programming. Listen to what the heart says. It's not always easy, but we can calm our thoughts down from time to time. We can slow ourselves down when we need to. And we can hear what's more important than what we have heard 100 times before. This reading is about embodying the channel that we are. And I had a big resistance to channeling for so many years. But I feel it more and more when I consciously choose for it to happen. And it's always going to be tainted by a bit of my ego, and that's okay. When I center myself in love, this is when the channel becomes a little bit purer and clearer. And the magician needs to find that purity again, connect with all the elements. And this is a wonderful message for me to remember more often, because I forget all the time. And I hope it's a good message for you too. Much love.